WagerTalk.
Welcome to WagerTalk Today, the gold standard of sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. It's Tuesday, massive night of college basketball. We're going to also take a look at possibly some NBA second half betting angles. We're going to do WTF LFG, and we'll do a couple of free plays, including a big dog I like in UFC. But Dan, WTF LFG continues to roll yesterday. So we're going to get to that. But give us the rundown, man. We are college basketball heavy today.
Yeah, I mean, that's the nature of the beast right now. You know, NBA still on the All-Star break, NHL in the Olympic break, which means college basketball wall to wall for you guys. And we have three of the best cappers to give it to you. Bryan Power, the star of the morning wager over on Picks and Parlays. He's joining us to talk Michigan versus Purdue and UCLA taking on Michigan State. And Jesse Schule's coming on. He's going to, of course, tell you who are we fading in some college basketball action. He's also got a great future for you to place right now in NBA action. You like 8.5 to 1? Well, you're going to want to stay tuned because how can you cash in on that? Jesse's going to let you know. And then we're going to shut things down with the pen himself. That's right. Ralph Michaels coming on. UNC, NC State, and Georgia, Kentucky. 2 plays coming for you in that one as well. And as Andy said, we got free plays all along the way. We're going to get into some things that we talked about yesterday, and we're going to be taking your comments all show long. So keep them coming, Andy. Before we do WTF LFG, I got a lacrosse play for you here, Andy. We have a new graphic that we'll be rolling out here for you folks here on the show. Andy, your tennis plays are in absolute wagon territory. That's right. Get the vodka, light it on fire. Absolute Vodka, if you would like to sponsor the segment. Absolute wagon. Andy Lang plays right now. Why are we seeing in tennis so well right now, man? I mean, we're crushing it.
Yeah, the doubles continue to hit 2-1 yesterday. We've got a couple more up today. One of them is the $5 Tuesday play. But yes, it is all about the doubles. At the beginning of the year, I said I think this is a gettable market. And yeah, we are on an absolute wagon. I mean, this is a 12-5 run now in tennis. And what we have is we're figuring out Mondays, Tuesdays, and maybe late Wednesday nights. That's when you pounce because that's when you're getting the huge mismatches. And that's what we're looking for. So moving forward every week, we're going to be heavy on tennis on Monday, Tuesday, and the Wednesday overnight, and then probably done. I don't really care about the championships when you got these really good games moving forward. So let's continue it, Dan. We got $5 play that is up in tennis. We got a $5 UFC play that is up. So we got 2 plays for $10, and it is $5 Tuesday. All cappers have a $5 play up, and we're going to Brian's, Jesse's, Ralph's, mine. I mean, it's a fantastic day here. But let's make it 2-0 on WTF LFG. This is a client play. We told you when we give out lacrosse plays on here, we're only going to do it unless they are client plays. And Dan, you like this one.
Yeah, I do like this one quite a bit. It's an ugly dog special for you here on Tuesday. You know, that's how we love doing it. We're 24-17 on the free plays here for you. But like Andy said, this is for his clients as well. We're taking a look at VMI getting the 9.5 against Navy. A little service action that we have there for you. Guys, this is just an absolutely horrible spot for Navy. Navy, they're 1-1 on the season. They just lost to Towson, a team who we've capped pretty decently this year. But the spot for them here is on Saturday already because this is a midweek game. They're facing off against Penn State. And Penn State is a team who just recently upset Princeton. All eyes for the Navy midshipmen will be on that weekend game, not against a VMI team that they're 8-0 against lifetime. They haven't played since 2023, so it's been a little bit, and VMI's program has increasingly gotten better. They're 0-2 this year, but last year they were 10-4 on the season. Also, Navy in look-ahead games against Penn State, 0-2 against the spread, the game that they play before Penn State. So it's been a tough look-ahead spot for them. I think, Navy, you saw them let up 7 goals to a team like Iona. Well, Navy in the last 2 seasons, Andy, has only had 2 games that they have won by 10 or more goals. Both of those games were against that awful Iona team. This is probably a just win and get out of Dodge game. Get ready for Penn State. Getting 9.5 is a great spot. I think this is more like a 4, maybe 5 goal win tops for Navy. Take the 9.5 with VMI. The dog might not be fully barking, Andy, but that back door is surely swinging in the wind there in Baltimore, Maryland.
Yeah, we don't need it to bark. Just
No, just a yip. Yeah, just a growl. We'll take a growl. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. That's your WTF LFG looking to move to 25-17. Let's get things rocking with college basketball. With Bryan Power, we get the Peacock doubleheader. I didn't do this on purpose, Brian. I happened to just put on the Purdue sweatshirt, and I didn't even see that you're breaking down Michigan Purdue. But you know what? Let's embrace it. Screw Michigan. Yeah, I said it, Detroit office. Go Boilermakers. So, Brian, how are you on Tuesday?
I'm doing okay. As a matter of fact, I see we have a Big Ten theme here on the screen. I'm the only one. I didn't get the memo that I was supposed to be. I should have worn. How fun would it have been if I would have worn my Michigan attire? Then we all could have.
Kind of rocking like TCU colors today. You're giving me TCU vibes. Maybe some K-State.
Lumberjack shirt. Yeah. Of course, I would never. I don't even know any. I wouldn't know if you handed me an axe, I wouldn't know what to do. But I would at least look good holding it, I suppose. So there we go.
This is true.
Yes.
Very true.
So things are going good. I said it would be. Look, glad I wasn't on the show yesterday because things were. I had a very upsetting 5% loss on Sunday, but I said it was going to be a bounce back Monday. It was a bounce back Monday. We hit the under in Norfolk State and Maryland Eastern Shore. I hate when sometimes I bet on games that aren't on TV, and the ESPN app says 0-0-0, but I get really worried why it's not saying final. The reason I was worried is because that under stayed under by 1.5 points. So I was hoping there was no garbage time score there at the end, but we got it. Bounce back 12-3 last 15 in college basketball. Number 1 all basketball, NBA, and college in the month of February. So I guess I'm feeling pretty good, Andy, to answer your question.
How did that get there? Oh, what? How did that happen?
Hey, sorry, I wish I was that jacked.
I don't know how that got up there, BP. That's my bad. I was trying to put up the Michigan and Wolverine graphic.
There it is.
So that was what I was trying, but this one just kept coming up. I'm sorry. Yeah. This is the one that I wanted up there. Michigan and Purdue. What do we think, BP?
Yeah. So Dan, you mentioned at the outset it's all about college basketball right now, and look, how good has this college basketball season been? I think we talked a little bit about this on the morning wager. Zeno and I think this has been the best college basketball season in many, many years. Second straight night here. We've got a top 10 matchup. This one featuring the new number 1 team in the country, Michigan, who, if you caught my appearance on the show last week, Andy, I know you said screw Michigan a moment ago. I'll butter up to the Detroit office here a little bit. Last week on the show, I said Michigan was the number 1 team in the country. I said I would have them favored on a neutral against Arizona. And by God, look what's happened over the last 7 days. Arizona lost 2 games, and Michigan is the new number 1. But it's not an easy spot tonight for the Wolverines, guys. They're at number 7, Purdue. Boilermakers coming off a very impressive beatdown of Iowa. At Iowa, Boilermakers held the Hawkeyes to 37.5% shooting in the 78-57 win and cover as 1.5-point road favorites. Prior to that win and cover, if you recall, Purdue won at Nebraska. That game did end up going to overtime, but remember, Purdue led by as many as 22 points early in the second half of that one. Now, Michigan, look, the superlatives are long, okay? They have 20 double-digit wins, 13 wins by 20 or more, 10 wins by 30 or more. I think it would be a real shocker if they added any of those totals tonight, though, in West Lafayette. I know the Wolverines' straight-up record on the road is a perfect 8-0. They're one of only 4 teams not to lose a true road game this season. St. Louis, St. John's, Miami of Ohio are the others. But what we care about against the spread, Michigan just 2-6 ATS in those 8 true road games. Yes, it's a short number here, but something to remember, guys. Last 2 games, what have we seen from Michigan? They were down at the half at Northwestern. Then Saturday at home versus UCLA, only up 2 going into the break before a monster second half. More on UCLA, by the way, in my second breakdown here on the show coming up in just a minute. But I think you guys might sense where I'm going. At least I hope you do. Earlier, I mentioned Purdue had the great start against Nebraska before having to hold on for an overtime win. They've trailed at the half, Purdue, just once in their last 8 games. In fact, 3 of the last 4, they've had a double-digit lead going into the break. With Michigan off a couple shaky starts, I like Purdue in the first half here. You can get plus 1.5 at one pretty popular sports book. Let me just make sure that's still available here now that I'm telling people that it was available during my notes when I did it. And yeah, it's still there. So plus 1.5 Purdue. We'll take them first half here. I don't want to bet against Michigan full game, but I think Purdue keeps it close for at least 20 minutes.
So you saw Andy's sweater and you just said, "Okay, first half Boilermakers. That's the way to go." That's
yes. The sweater. I changed my whole. As soon as I saw him come on the screen, I said, "Well, we're going to change this just based on the sweater." No, look, man. Purdue, like I said, Michigan. Look, it's hard to win every true road game. They've had the shaky starts. Not only were they trailing Northwestern, guys, they were down in that game by what? As many 16, 17 early in the second half before roaring back. Look, Michigan can knock you out with a run. With the best of them, obviously. Like I said, Michigan, they're my number one team in the country. I don't want to fade them full game, but at home, I would expect a strong start from the Boilermakers tonight.
All right, well, BP, you're all Michigan up here. Are you feeling the same type of sentiment as far as the Michigan State Spartans as they're taking on UCLA tonight? Much bigger of a number here. You see the total there as well. What are you thinking in this one, UCLA, Michigan State? Is this also a first half play? Are you going full game for this one, Mr. Power?
It is a first half play. That's going to be the theme of the show. So very good for teeing me up, Dan. I didn't even let you know. I was like, wait, did I slack you that? Anyway, I just said with that Michigan UCLA game this past Saturday, UCLA was only down by 2 going into halftime in Ann Arbor. Well, unfortunately for Bruins fans, their team ended up losing that game by 30, outscored 46-18 in the second half. Of course, that led to a little Mick Cronin ripping on his team, which he always does after a bad performance. Quote, we were awful in the second half. We were god-awful. We missed 8 unguarded threes. If you're going to come in here, you got to score. We have some guys who won't pass the ball. That is frustrating. It's the worst second half defensive field goal percentage of my career in 23 years. They, referring to Michigan, were 18 for 23, shot 78.3%. Worst of my career, and I don't have to look it up. And then, of course, Mick was sure to add, I can promise you that it's not like I forgot how to coach defense. So as much as I don't really care for Cronin, I do think he's going to have this UCLA team ready to go tonight in East Lansing, where Michigan State is also looking to recover from a bad loss. On Friday, if you guys recall, Sparty got beat 92-71 at Wisconsin. Tom Izzo coached teams, usually very good defensively. I shouldn't have to tell you that. This one is no exception. However, and they're number 7 at KenPom in defensive rating, Sparty is, but they just let Wisconsin shoot 43% from three-point range on Friday. Michigan State just shoots 30% themselves from behind the arc. You're not going to win many games with that kind of three-point disparity, obviously. So you got both teams coming off blowout losses. What are we going to do? Yeah, we're going to go to the first half. UCLA plus 4.5. Shop around. You might be able to find a plus 5. Michigan State, guys, has been a pretty awful first half team as of late, not just against Wisconsin, but they've actually been behind at the break each of their last 5 games. 3 of those 5 games, they trailed by double digits after 20 minutes. Overall, Sparty just 2-3 straight up its last 5 games, and they needed overtime for both wins. One of them at Rutgers, who they trailed by 9 at the break. So this is a team, Michigan State, that has been digging themselves some early holes. And the last time Michigan State, you'd have to go back to January 24th to find the last time Michigan State won a game in regulation. That's nearly a month ago. Meanwhile, yeah, they get killed by Michigan on Saturday, but prior to that, UCLA had won 7 of 9. One of those losses was in overtime. Sky Clark is back. He's an excellent defender for the Bruins. And one final point, guys. Both of these teams play slow. Michigan State, 265th in adjusted tempo. UCLA, 310th. So I think points are likely to be at a premium early. Let's take the points with UCLA in the first half.
Bryan, first half power. Dropping some knowledge there for you. BP, we have some questions here in the chat regarding some Champions League action. So we'll circle back to that. We heard what you like on the hardwood. Find out what you like on the pitch here for the folks here in the live chat. But first, $5 Tuesday, brother. What do you got rocking? What other specials do you have going? And also remind people about the show that everyone needs to be watching every morning or afternoon, depending on when you guys want to post it. But the morning wager, what does the star of the morning wager have rocking, and why should people check it out, BP?
Shots fired from production there. Okay, you threw a lot at me. Dana, the first thing is, what do I have going for $5 Tuesday? Well, it's actually a Champions League play, as a matter of fact. And the play is for Wednesday, so you guys have all day to get this. But at midnight Pacific time, the deal's going to go away. $5, you can get my top Champions League play this week. With all the success I've been having in basketball this month, I mentioned when I first came on, 21-6 run combined NBA in college, 12-3 last 15 in college. number one in soccer the last 22 months, net units here at WagerTalk. So you're going to want to get this 4% Champions League play. Yes, it is a 4% Champions League play, just $5. I have a free play I'll give you guys in a minute for today on the pitch. I also have 2 college basketball plays tonight. You can get them for just $29. So we're seeing it well in college. Bounced back last night. So WT.buzz/BP. And yes, the morning wager available every Monday through Friday on both the Wager Talk and Picks and Parlays YouTube channels. Today's show was quite good, I thought, Dan. I don't know if you would agree. We got it over to you. We got it over to you early enough, I guess. But we covered a litany of issues. Mark Zeno and I not only give 3 free plays, but we give our take on skiing as well. I just came back from a skiing weekend.
And I also, a great hot take on Floyd Mayweather taking on Mike Tyson, the fight that nobody asked for, yet is happening. So yes, there are more reasons than ever to check out the Morning Wager. And guys, a big way to say thanks to them. Obviously, if you haven't liked and subscribed to Wager Talk here, we'd love you to do that. But also check out the sister channel, Picks and Parlays. Hit them with the like and a little subscribe over there. We're trying to grow over there as well. So big thanks to everyone who's tuning in. BP, real quick, Champions League. This is actually we enjoy when people are giving some soccer plays. I've done the same here on the show. So usually your cohort, Mark Zeno, would be ripping you saying nobody cares. Why are you giving a soccer play? It is encouraged here in Wager Talk today, especially during quiet time. What do you got in Champs League action? Some good games here today.
Yeah, so the number actually has moved against me here since I gave this out. It's a free play. It's on my page. Again, WT.buzz. I like Real Madrid. It's a huge revenge spot, obviously, against Benfica. It was a wild finish that got Benfica into the knockout stage. Mbappe's back. Look, Real Madrid guys closed minus 140 their last trip here. And now we're getting it at plus money. I think for me, it's all about price. It's more about price than it is the revenge angle. You don't want to just blindly bet a revenge angle, but it was a crazy finish the last time these teams met on the pitch. So I like Real Madrid to take this first leg on the 3-way line. I would bet them at plus money.
Yeah, also, if you want a little extra even plus money, you could maybe take them and add in that over 2.5. I expect there to be goals in that match as well. I mean, even if
6 the last time, yep.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a little bit square as there were 6 last time, but yeah, it feels like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That over might be worth a look as well. There's a little Champions League action for you. BP, always a pleasure chatting with you. While you and I were talking, Andy was doing some research for the chat here because folks had some consternation over what is a boiler, what is a maker. Andy, you did the research for the folks. What did we learn?
So I knew this, but this is the actual definition, Brian. A Boilermaker is a simple beer cocktail consisting of a shot of whiskey and a glass of beer, traditionally served as a shot in a beer, where the shot is taken first, followed by sipping the beer as a chaser. It can also be made by dropping the shot glass into the beer, though this is less common and requires care. Thank you, AI. So I ask you, Brian. I love it. It requires care.
Yeah.
Like, you don't throw it across the room to get it. So, Brian, are you a shot, then the beer chaser, or are you a whiskey into the beer kind of guy? It says a lot about you. I don't really
discriminate which kind of order I go. I'll be honest with you. Whichever order you hand it to me, I'm going to do it. I don't smoke crack, though. I see some allegations being made in the chat.
There were.
What's going on there?
There were.
I guess that was in response to wanting to fade Michigan. Look, maybe that's what it takes to fade Michigan. I don't know. Put it on a napkin, let it cool off, I guess. But look, no, in all seriousness, guys, no. I'll tell you what, shot, beer, I'll do whatever in whatever order you give me.
The dropping into the liquid, that's like
I don't know, like that was like old. Like I haven't done. I'll be honest, I haven't done a bomb of any kind in quite some time. Like a Jaeger bomb. Like it's been a while.
Yeah, a little Irish.
When was the last time you did a shot of Jaeger?
Correct to say anymore. Yeah, shot of Jaeger. There's an incredible like Oktoberfest that's here in my hometown that I moved back to, and actually it was rated USA Today best Oktoberfest celebration outside of Germany, like 10 years running, something like that. They have Jaeger people that walk around with like syringes that they'll spray. So that's when I get my Jaeger intake for the decade is during Oktoberfest.
The old Irish car bomb reference. Yeah.
You can't say it anymore.
Oh, you
can't say it anymore, man. No.
What happens if I went to the bartender and said I'd like they would like beat me or something like that? I don't know.
They might.
Okay.
You got to be careful.
Good thing to jot down there. All right.
I got your back, BP. BP, always a pleasure, my man. Thank you.
Absolutely.
For coming
on. All right.
Good luck, Bryan. Bryan Power, WT.buzz/BP. Kevin Clancy on Twitter. Not a fan of the lacrosse place. That's okay, Kevin. That's okay. What are you going to do?
4-2 for clients last week. My bankroll's up. So, listen, Kevin, if you figured out a fade wagon, by all means, go right ahead.
Yeah, keep them coming. Keep them coming.
Yeah. So shout out to Kevin. Let's see. Andrew, don't put the word Irish before it. If you're in a round of, if you're around Irish people, do not refer to it as an Irish car bomb. I learned that from my Irish friends a long time ago. That is a great way to get into a fight.
It's
a great way to get into a fight. Yeah. So, listen, Ty, you can. No one
don't say it to Kevin Dolan. Maybe
there's just going to be repercussions if you say it in front of the wrong person. So yeah, you can do whatever you want. So, all right. Well, speaking of fades, let's bring in Jesse. And Jesse just always fading. So we got to start, Jesse, with Boilermaker. Are you a shot and then beer or shot in the beer?
Definitely in the beer. But I guess that's Jägermeister. That's a Jaeger bomb.
Jaeger bomb, sake bomb, Vegas bomb. Yeah, all those bombs. So I guess.
See, in Philly, they got the citywide special where they'll basically give you PBR and a shot, and it would be shot, and then you have the beer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. So Jesse, you just a fade trade here. You got teams lining up to fade here. So just chew. Let's go, man.
Before we get started, Andy. Before we get started,
yes.
Ask me how I've been doing on this segment recently.
Well, Jesse, how have you been doing on this segment recently?
Well, I was late for work today, Andy, because I had to go back and look at all the episodes for the past month. And it turns out we're 11-0 on the weekly WagerTalk Fade segment the last 4 weeks. And 11-0 is pretty freaking good.
Wagon alert. Absolute wagon alert.
Absolutely.
And let me remind you that one of those was Kenneth Walker to win the MVP. And I had a few people calling me, suggesting that I was smoking bath salts and such things. I was happy to see them saying that about Bryan Power. I thought I was the only one.
At least they don't discriminate, Jesse. Equal opportunity.
I consider that great good luck when they say that about me.
Well, let's what is up with the chat and the hardcore drug use? My God, guys, salts and crack. All right, well, Jesse, let's start with Baylor. Why are we fading this team?
Well, an interesting situation here. We're fading Baylor, despite the fact that Baylor is probably the better team. They come in as a favorite. They were a 4-point favorite, but money is coming in on Kansas State. Why, might you ask? This Kansas State team is sitting tied for dead last in the Big 12, but they just fired their head coach, Jerome Tang, and in kind of controversial circumstances, he called out his team. He said, "I'm embarrassed. These guys aren't fit to wear the uniform, and most of them won't be back next year." And shortly thereafter, he was fired. So do we expect a bounce of positive energy after firing a coach like we see so often betting on sports? I'm not here to tell you that it was Jerome Tang's fault. I think there was clearly a disconnect between the players and the coach. And if you ask me whose side I'm on Jerome Tang's side. I think it was probably more a problem with the players than the coach. That said, this is an opportunity for those players who I still believe are talented players to show what they've got to their new bench boss, Matthew Driscoll. a guy that I'm not that familiar with, but I look at his resume, 16 years with North Florida, the winningest coach in the A-Sun Conference, and I can tell you that I didn't watch a single one of those games, but with 4 decades of coaching experience, I expect him to be all fired up for this opportunity. I expect the players to want to make a big impression. This is their opportunity to prove that it wasn't them that was the problem. And if they fail to do so, everybody's going to be looking at them saying it was you guys that were the problem. Baylor, they've got their own issues. They're just 2-5 on the road. They've had a disappointing season. They've had some big games, some bad games. They've been rather inconsistent. But I think the motivation angle here, after firing the coach, I got to go with the home dog. And let's do it for the first half, plus 1.5, Kansas State in the first half.
When I heard him say that quote, I was like, he's not talking about his team. Like, you don't say that about your team, do you? Oh, apparently you do. That was wild. And then Kansas State wanting to fire him and not pay him was a nice wrinkle here. So another first half bet on that one. And you got 2 more teams we're going to fade. So the floor is yours. Who's 2 more teams to be on the lookout for?
Well, I'm going to fade 2 teams that are playing each other, Andy, and you're probably thinking to yourself, well, how the hell are you going to do that? Well, we're going to look at the total because Iowa is playing Nebraska. They're hosting Nebraska, and the total is 139.5. I think that is way too high for a game between the number 1 and number 2 ranked scoring defenses in the Big Ten. Iowa, did you know, Andy, that Iowa ranked dead last in the conference, allowing almost 80 points per game last year? And now they're first in the conference, allowing just 64.9 points per game this year. Nebraska, they ranked 11th in the Big Ten last year, giving up 73 points per game, and they're allowing just 66 points per game this year. And that might explain why this number sits at 139.5. I think expecting the top 2 defensive teams in the conference to combine for 140 points is a little unrealistic. I'd be surprised if either of these teams gets to 70 points. And just a little bit more information on this game. Iowa obviously playing a different style of basketball under new head coach Ben McCollum. They rank 362nd in the nation in pace of play, averaging just 65 possessions per game. There's only 365 Division I teams. Only 3 of those teams play slower than the Iowa Hawkeyes. Playing a slow pace like that with a willing participant in Nebraska that is content to play that style, like I said, this total is too high. We're going under 139.5, Andy.
I was wondering how you were going to land the plane on that one, fading 2 teams that were, but it makes perfect sense. Absolutely. So I love your future here in NBA. We're going to get to that in a second, but it is $5 Tuesday. Tell everyone what you have up at WagerTalk.
Well, Andy, it would probably not surprise you too much to learn that I'm hitting 77% with my money line sides in 2026. I am number 1 at WagerTalk with moneyline sides since 2022. I'm up 174 units with all my sides on the money line in all sports, and I have a money line play in college basketball today. Some people say that that's a silly thing to do, but take a look at my numbers, you might think otherwise. So you can get that for just $5. I also have a couple more plays. You can get the entire 3-pack for $29. That's probably even a better deal.
Yeah, Jesse, that's awesome on Moneyline. I feel like if this was like 20 years ago, Jesse, you'd have to give yourself like a horribly corny nickname with Moneyline involved in it. So yeah, there's your assignment, chat. Give us if this was 20 years ago, what would Jesse's nickname be for specializing in money lines? So give me a good one. Talk to me about this future here. It's plus 850. And I agree with you on the price. It seems a little bit wide. So who are we looking at here?
We're going to look at the San Antonio Spurs plus 850 to win the Western Conference. Of course, the Oklahoma City Thunder are the favorite, and they sit in first place, 3 games up on the Spurs. And you know me, Andy, I just love fading teams. So why do we want to fade Oklahoma City? Well, they're banged up. SGA's got that abdominal issue. They've got a few other starters that are banged up. I'm sure they'll all be back. I'm sure that it's going to be just fine. But this team just doesn't quite look as dominant as it did last year. And even last year, I know that there's this air of an invincibility with the Oklahoma City Thunder, but I'm a little bit skeptical. You know, I look at this team 2 years ago, they lost in 6 games to a Dallas Mavericks team that they were heavily favored against. And then last year, I don't know if you guys remember Game 4 of the NBA Finals, Scott Foster, a little bit of controversy. They were so close to going down 3-1 in the finals. No team ever coming back I think LeBron did that, even though I try to forget about that. Anyways, I don't think that Oklahoma City is invincible. I think the Spurs are younger. I think they've got the depth. I was very impressed with their record, 10-4 without Wembanyama this season. I just don't see any reason why the Spurs can't catch Oklahoma City and win the Western Conference.
I agree with you. The Spurs they're not intimidated by this Thunder team, even when at full strength. And Wemby is he's a nightmare for anybody, but he causes a lot of problems to that front court. So I'm with you at plus 850 there. So thank you for joining us, Moneyline Master. So, no, in all seriousness, congratulations on that percentage on money line. It's very, very impressive. And Jesse's got $5 play up. Jesse, good luck to you, man. And let's keep hitting those fades.
See you guys next week.
Thanks, Jesse. Appreciate it. Yeah, 11-0 run on the free play fades for you here, folks. I mean, if that's not worth a like, and if you haven't subscribed already, I don't know what is. Jesse coming on here every week and taking the abuse you give him in the chat and still providing you with winners. Come on, guys. Hit that like button.
So, Dan, I was watching curling this morning. That's my morning routine. I have curling on.
Same.
And the U.S. women's team, made a shot that apparently was really good. And, the announcers were like, oh, what a shot. And I was like, wow. And then I was like, why am I reacting that way? I have no idea if that was a good shot or not. And
but it
that
looked
is what
cool.
I love.
But it looked cool, and everyone else is cheering. You just get caught up in the moment. Andy, you've been dialed in. Like every Winter Olympics, I get pumped up. I genuinely enjoy watching curling. So you've been dialed in like I have watching this. So I'm sure you saw the controversy with the Canadian team when they were playing against Sweden, and the women's team had the same issue where as they're on their throw, which you could only have your hand on the handle, and once you released, you saw the little push forward. Do you have a take here on the curling controversy? Because my big takeaway is more just it seems like it didn't matter. Okay, they got caught red-handed, and it wasn't like any crazy infractions came through. It wasn't like there was a slap on the wrist even. So any of your thoughts on this Canadian I thought Canadians were always supposed to be nice, well-mannered. The dude was dropping F-bombs at the Swedes. It was crazy.
Yeah. Well, here's my take. I don't know the rules. And this is what I love about the Olympics.
It doesn't look right.
Every 4 years, we are experts in figure skating, in curling,
yes,
in bobsledding. That wasn't a good start. And then on the flip side, every 4 years, I am a master at judging floor routines in gymnastics. I can automatically tell what the score should be. So I defer to the governing body. What was it an infraction? Was it not? Because if it was an infraction, then penalize them, DQ them, take away points, whatever make them. I don't know, put grease on the stones. I don't know what is the penalty for.
It was. I will say it was smart by the opponent because they were the ones who basically entrapped them. They knew that this was something the Canadians had been doing, and they said, you know what? The reason why they get away with it is because of the camera angles. So the Swedes said, for our camera angle, we're going to make sure that somebody is set up perfectly that we can catch him doing it. And I guess that's probably how they were able to get away with it, because it wasn't an official angle. It wasn't something that they're typically grading on. It wasn't typically something that they're typically scoring on. So, Andy, it seems to me that it is more you can't do it in good faith than you're going to be DQ'd for it. Is what it seemed from my vast understanding of curling.
I don't know. Like, I know the rules of a lot of sports. That is one that I don't know.
I know if
But
you weren't guilty, you don't get that heated for the Canadian being like, F you, I didn't do it effing once, SMD, all that good stuff.
I will say this. If another team has gone out of their way to set up a special camera to catch you doing it,
it's probably documented.
It's not a first time offense. They've probably been doing it for quite a while. And I guess the other thing is, I don't know, the reaction was pretty
Visceral.
violent.
Yeah.
So an extreme reaction like that kind of like tells me that there's some bad blood there, which is great. And I think they dropped the ball or dropped the stone there by not going more into it, and like, why isn't there a one-on-one grudge match planned?
I like that.
And maybe this could be Netflix's new thing.
Stone off.
We got Floyd Mayweather versus Tyson. I don't know if you saw this. Did you see Gina Carano is now going to fight Ronda Rousey on a Netflix? So
we're having the chick from Mandalorian that got canceled, and now she's fighting against Rousey, and Jake Paul is the one promoting it. I saw it come across my ESPN ticker, and I was like, that can't be real, can it? And Andy, believe it or not, Serrano, going up against Rousey. It's going to be a thing. And guess what, Andy? You and I are probably going to watch.
I'm probably going to watch it. Yes, I am probably going to watch it. So Dan disappeared. I don't know if his internet just went out. So let's bring on Ralph here. Ralph. Hey, it's the pen. It's
Irish car bombs, curling fights,
just car bombs. Just
women
car
battling
bombs.
under Jake Paul. So, it's so funny story. My son went to Westlake High School between Jake and his brother. So he was the year between the two. So he knew them both. And I said, well, why couldn't you get hired by one of them to help them do some shit? So no such luck.
Honest question, Ralph. What were they like back then? Because I'm amazed at how good of athletes they are. Like the one that's in WWE is incredible. Like he's
actually a really good wrestler. He's a good showman. He fits the heel role well.
Were they like that?
Yeah. Jake became famous because of vines. He would skateboard off roofs and things like that. So he was crazy. They were both football players. Yes, they worked out, but they weren't that where they were all-state football players, but they've always had the wild side, and the vines is how they started with. He was one of the top Vine moneymakers, doing absolute crazy things, and look where it's gotten him. So
I remember the Vines because when Vine went away, it was like, oh, that's the end of the Paul brothers. And no, that was the beginning of the Paul brothers, actually. So, wow, that's really interesting. The Jake and Logan Paul thing is really amazing. I never in a million years would have guessed they would have become this big, but kudos to them, man. Kudos to them. So, all right, Ralph, we got some college basketball games here. You got the ESPN doubleheader between North Carolina and NC State. Also got Georgia versus Kentucky. We're going to start with North Carolina, NC State here. 6.5 point spread over under 158.5. What's your take on this game?
I want to make a complaint first to both of you guys. I thought I had the patent on first half plays here on WagerTalk Today.
Now everyone's giving them out.
Oh, Ralph's having another first half play. So for us to allow all these people to start using first halves, I would like to call a meeting and see if we can if we can maybe grease their stones as well.
They'll send you a nickel every time. We'll have a nickel tax if someone's given a first half play, and we'll make sure it's sent, and we'll put it into a slush fund for pens that we can buy for viewers. How does that sound, Ralph?
That is awesome. I appreciate you very much. Well, let's look at North Carolina and NC State. As I always do, I always want to start this show breaking down their season to date work, both overall and in the conference, just to get an idea if we think this line is right or wrong based on current performance. Well, North Carolina State, 18-8 versus the number 40 schedule. And in the ACC, they're 9-4 versus the 16th schedule. So they played a weak conference schedule. North Carolina, a little weaker schedule, but they're 20-5 straight up, and they're 8-4 versus the number 14 schedule in ACC action. In conference play, North Carolina, the number 2 offense, number 10 defense. NC State ranks number 5 and number 7. The important thing to note, and this is pretty impressive, North Carolina beat Pittsburgh 79-65 as an 11.5-point home favorite. They were without Caleb Wilson and Henry Visar. And listen to these two players. They've combined for 36.2 points per game, 18.4 rebounds per game, and 4.7 assists per game. So you're without your most productive 2 players, yet you still cover as a double-digit favorite. That's to be remembered. The problem now is Caleb Wilson, number 1 scorer, number 1 rebounder, and number 2 on assists. He is out now for a period of time. I'm not sure if they ruled him out for the whole season or just that. And Henry may show up back today, so they may only be without 1 player. When we look at North Carolina, they're 10-5 ATS at home, but only 3-6 against the spread away from Chapel Hill. As a dog, they've been a dog 6 times. They're 3-0 as a 1.5-point dog. They're 0-3 as a bigger dog, which they fall into this category. NC State is coming off back-to-back losses. They got mauled by Louisville, 118-77, and then they lost to Miami of Florida by 1. I had NC State in a money line parlay. They led that game by 7 points with 1 minute and 7 seconds to go, and they allowed Miami of Florida to score 8 straight points to finish that game and a win by 1. But at least with NC State now, you know, this is a rivalry where they rarely have the better ACC record. They really can make a statement in this game. NC State has failed to cover 4 straight, and they're 1-5 off a loss. Again, they're off a loss at Miami with the only cover as an away dog. The matchup that sticks out to me in this game is NC State is very good against a poor rebounding team. But when they are facing a team that is a good rebounding team, meaning they average more than 4 rebounds more than they allow, they're +4 diff on the season, they're only 1-11 against the spread. So I don't want to back NC State. I think North Carolina's go through a bit of transition here against NC State. Then they have Syracuse on deck without their best player. So I'm going to look at the total, and I am going to use full game total on this. You know, I look at Ken Palm, and I love looking at their pace rankings. We have 2 teams here that do like to press the pace. NC State and North Carolina are number 46 and number 66 in tempo. But on defense, they really slow their opponents down. Their defensive tempo ranks number 315 and number 276. NC State is a top 50 team in the number of assists they have per game based on their number of shots. They don't turn the ball over, they're number 12, and they don't force defensive turnovers, they're number 314. NC State, also a very good team not turning the ball over. They're number 13 in the country. And when they face a team that averages over 16 assists per game, they're 0-5 over-under. When I look at North Carolina now, in their last few games, they've really slowed the tempo down. Their average tempo grade from December through last week was about 72 per game. Their last couple games against Duke and then the last game without their best player, their tempo grade was number 65, a significant slowdown. I expect this game to go under. Yes, an in-state rivalry. Yes, it's the only meeting this season between these two. Give me under 158.5 between the Tar Heels and Wolfpack.
Under, says our man Ralph the Pen Michaels. And Ralph, after all that him and Hahn, you give out a full game play. So you better in this Georgia and Kentucky game have a first half play, or else I'm going to make you pay us a nickel here, Ralph. But before we talk that game, brother, $5 Tuesday, a great time for folks to try out some handicappers. What do you have locked and loaded over at your page, wt.buzz/RM?
Well, again, full disclosure, I did lose a 5% college basketball play last night, lost it by a hoop. I was 7-1 on 5% this season. Now, of course, 7-2, still 77%. But number one at WagerTalk in college basketball the last 30 days. My current run in college hoops, 36-18. That, of course, 67%. And my college basketball best bets, those are 4% and 5% top-rated plays, even with the loss last night. 29-13, 69%. Hey, and congratulations to Lonnie Smith. He bought it down to 3.5, so he got a winner. I'm happy to hear that for him.
Love to see it. And also, folks, one thing, I saw a comment over on the best betting show ever, the daily show there with Prez, that was just regarding, folks, if, when you're losing a 5% play or anything like that. One thing that I would just like to say is when we're talking about the rating system on these WagerTalk plays, Ralph, and you can obviously correct me if I'm wrong, anywhere from 1 to 5%. So guys, when you're thinking about these 5% plays, yes, they're the strongest rated plays for our cappers, but it's only 1% more of your bankroll than what you would consider your 4% play. So, a lot of times we see people who get the flex passes who will just bounce from 5% to 5%, and that's your prerogative to do so, folks. But I would always recommend that more so than what the play is rated, read the description, read what the handicapper is breaking down, how they arrived at the play. And if it's something that you strongly agree with, then maybe it becomes a 5% play for you as well. But Ralph, real quick before we do, this Georgia and Kentucky game, just talk a little bit about the rating system and reminding people, hey, 5% doesn't mean pull off the rubber band and go crazy with your bankroll. The number one thing that we have to remind folks is bankroll management, tantamount to anything that we're doing here on the show.
Listen, there's people that have done 5% runs and have gone great. But, I think that WagerTalk's customers are an elite level of customer. They realize that if a guy has a 5% and he's doing well, the odds are the 5% is going to be better. If a guy's on a horrible losing streak and throws up a 5%, it's up for you to decide if you want to buy that play or not. But basically, Dan, I've always said this. I rate my plays 3, 4, and 5s. There are occasions if I have a prop or something, it may be a 1%, or if it's a standalone game and I'm right in between, I use it as a 2%. But my general rule is this. If I have 3 plays that are rated 3%, 4%, and 5% and go 2 and 1, you should 100% make money. Even if you win 2, 3%, you're plus 6 units, and you lose a 5%, you're minus 5.5, you may only be winning a half a unit. But the key is this. Your bankroll management, if you're betting traditional plays and you go 2 and 1, make sure you're showing yourself a profit, because to hit 67% and not make money, that's an issue that you have and should be corrected.
Yeah, and to Ralph's point there, this is why, things that Andy and I do, we're kind of flat unit bettors as opposed to different sports. Maybe you'll rise up here and there, but that's the way that's always worked for me. For my bankroll is to be in a flat unit and maybe raising a half or a full percentage point, depending on, how strongly I feel about that play, but always staying around that same around 2.5 unit betting size. That's how I do it. Guys, that's just, how it works for me and my bankroll. So great stuff here. This is the kind of stuff we love, informing you guys on how to bet, not just what to bet. But that being said, Ralph, big game. Kentucky taking on Georgia. Kentucky laying the 7.5 at home here, a much higher total than any of these other games that we've talked about thus far, Ralph. So how are you looking to bet this one?
Well, let's look at the team season to date. Georgia, 17-8. Kentucky, 17-8. So let's look at the schedules and see which one's played a tougher schedule. Well, Georgia's played the number 66 schedule. That's damn weak. They played the number 336 non-conference schedule. Kentucky has played the number 7 toughest schedule in the country. So right there, that has me leaning with Kentucky. If you have the exact same record and one team's played the number 6 versus the 66, and you're at home with a 2.5 or 3-point home edge, I think that team should likely be a little big of a favorite. In SEC action. Georgia 5-7 versus the number 6 schedule. Kentucky 8-4, 3 wins better, and they played the number 2 toughest schedule. That actually thinking Kentucky should be even a little bigger favorite. But when we look at Georgia, 3 of their losses, again, they're 17-8, 3 of their losses in overtime. So they easily could be 20-5 or at least, 19-6 if they would have won a couple of those overtime games. Offense and defense in conference action, Georgia number 11 and number 12, Kentucky number 8 and number 7. Kentucky has been healthy. They're missing 2 guys that made 9 starts, but those were early in the year. Their recent performance, since they lost to Alabama and Missouri early in January, they've only lost 2 games. That was at Vanderbilt and at Florida, so they're playing well. At home, though, when they've laid the big numbers, they're only 8-7 against the spread, but they have covered 4 straight overall. Georgia has back-to-back losses to Florida, which they lost by 20 at home. They go to Oklahoma, they lose by 16 on the road. Well, how can you look at a team that's playing that poorly? Well, their top player, Jermaine Wilkinson, missed both the Florida and Oklahoma game. He started every game up to that point, and he will be playing tonight. So we expect Georgia to have an uptick over their last few days. Georgia is only 5-10 since mid-December against the spread, but they have gone 3-3 on the road. This total is 161.5, and Georgia has a pretty clean split when you're looking at this. When Georgia has a total under 161, they've gone 6-3 against the spread. When they're playing a very good offensive team and we have a total higher than 161, they are only 5-11 ATS. So while my numbers say Kentucky, while Georgia has struggled, again, without their best player for the last 2 games, what am I going to do for a best bet? Well, I don't want Dan yelling at me again, so I will go first half. Now, I am not going to go first half Kentucky. Listen to some of these splits, guys. Kentucky is a horrible team starting off the first half. Georgia has been very good. Full game versus first half. Georgia ATS as a dog, full game, 2-5. First half, 6-1 against the spread. Georgia as an away dog, 2-3 ATS full game, 5-0 first half. The same not only holds true, even stronger for Kentucky. Kentucky 12-13 against the spread, but only 5-20 in the first half. As a home favorite, Kentucky 7-7 against the spread, but 4-10 in the first half. And versus good shooting teams, Kentucky 10-8 against the spread, 3-15 against the spread first half. I like Kentucky full game. Best bet for the show, the Georgia Bulldogs to cover the first 20 minutes.
I like it. Ralph Michaels, WT.buzz /RM. And Ralph, as you were waiting in the wings, you did hear our discussion over the Boilermakers, shot versus beer or dropping it in. I know you're a Miller Lite man. When you're pairing that with a shot, you ever do any bombs, Ralph, or are you a shot and then sip?
I'm with Andy. I can't remember those. I've done shots, but a Boilermaker, we used to do them. And, I grew up in Cleveland, traditional German, so a lot of beer, a lot of whiskey. We would drop them in and do it. And then we changed from the bombs to what's the one that you light the shot on fire and drop it in?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Flaming Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, there you go. So we got on a stage for a couple of years there where we were doing flaming Dr. Peppers, and then one of our friends burned his mouth, so we stopped doing that. So it only takes once to realize why.
Yeah, one time. Yeah, the flaming shot I never quite got. Ralph, always a pleasure, man. Best of luck. Keep that college basketball run going. We'll see you next time, man. Thanks,
guys.
Appreciate it. Yeah, that's a hell of a run Ralph is on. You can check him out, WT.buzz /RM. Andy, we still have plenty to go, and we're nearing an hour here on the show. So what do you want to do? You want to talk about our Olympic Games yesterday? You want to give some folks some free plays real quick?
Let's pull up from the comment section some Olympic events. While we're doing that real quick, auto racing, Formula One did some testing. It looks like I can't tell too much from testing. I will say Max at plus 225 to win the championship is not too bad. They still have George Russell as a favorite, but Ferrari has looked good. Mercedes has looked good. I think Max has looked pretty good. McLaren's ahead of schedule, so Formula One shaping up to be good. We got another pack racing NASCAR race. I'd be careful with the Chevys. They have the new front ends, and they did not push very well. The Chevys struggled, and a bunch of them got knocked out in a big wreck. So we'll see. But those are some notes I had for you auto racing guys. All right, Dan. So we went over. If you didn't watch yesterday, go back and watch it, because Dan and I did things that should be Olympic events. Dan and I went in completely different directions here. So what did the comment section say?
Well, Andy, I pulled two of them. One of them will be a 3 free day flex pass winner because they included their WagerTalk username. There were some great ones. There was hide and seek. That was one of the suggestions.
I thought of hide and seek. That would be amazing in the Olympic Village.
Yeah, but you have to have parameters. You know what I mean? Like there has to be a boundary and everything like that. But yeah, hide and seek, you're hunting the most dangerous game known to mankind, which is, of course, man. But in true WagerTalk commenter fashion, Andy, they were suggesting things that probably could never be included. Mark Valdez saying, event where you take the longest blank rips. Only can get gold medal. Obviously, if you pass out, you're disqualified. These were my two entrants on who I would probably put up for our inaugural team for that event. But one that ties in with our conversation here today and who's going to be winning a free 3-day flex pass. Guys, that's all it takes sometimes. Watch the show, comment below, and we give you some free 3-day passes. Ed Olson is going to be our winner. Beer chugging. The second I saw that comment, Andy, I wanted to pull up one of the more underrated comedies of the last 20-some years, and that is Beer Fest. I mean, the Olympic beer drinking team, they go there, they take on the Germans, they miss their popo with the secret recipe. So instantly, when a comment makes me think of one of my favorite forgotten comedies in Beer Fest, Fins for Life, don't worry, we're going to be getting you the free 3-day flex pass, Andy. This would be a great one.
This is not out of the realm of potential, because it's not necessarily beer. It's they have eating.
Yeah.
like the 4th of July is basically built around the hot dog eating competition. So yeah, I'm amazed at the people that can just pour it down their throats. They don't like swallow it at all. Like they just open up their throats and just down it goes. That blows my mind. So that would
Das Boot.
Das
Bring
Boot.
out the
Yeah.
boot.
Yeah.
Boot.
You could do something with who's the first to pee.
This is all tying back to your days at the college bar, Andy. Yes, this is all tying back.
Yeah.
So congrats there to Ed Olson. Big thanks to everyone. Guys, after the shows go live, whether you're letting us know if you're following a play, you're fading the play, what you're betting tonight, keep those comments coming, guys. It's a big way to say thanks for everyone who's on the show here. And while you're down there, hit that like button and subscribe.
So where do you stand on the Boilermaker?
See, Andy, I had this was probably 6-7 years ago. I can count on one hand, Andy, and I can count on one finger the amount of times I have blacked out in my life. It was only one time. And the one time was when my buddy Dukes was bartending down at Flanagan's Irish Pub. And it was on the eve, obviously, of St. Patrick's Day. And the car bombs, Andy, whether they were Irish or not, were flowing with absolute regularity. And from that point forward, Andy, after I woke up in my bathroom upstairs covered in water, I said, I'm probably going to be a shot before the beer kind of guy. No more dropping into the beers for me. So at one time, Andy, I was a Boilermaker type gentleman. At this point in my life, Andy, I'm going to take the shot. I'm more of a, hey, how about I sip a little bit of whiskey after a couple beers go down? We have the whiskey for the nightcap. Not really pairing the sidecar as much anymore.
I agree. I think we're 4-1 on the show in agreement. Jesse, the only lunatic that puts his shot in.
Now, if you would go and poll Delta Phi, they're probably all dropping their shots into the bar, into the beer at that point in their careers. You know what I mean, Andy?
Yeah, I had a great aunt. I just remember this as a kid. At all family gatherings, she would sit right next to the kitchen in this chair, and whenever somebody would walk by, she would just go, "I'll have a shooter," and a shooter was a beer with a shot of vodka in it. So by the end, she would just have all of these glasses and just sit there and get smashed.
Elite
off of
move,
beer
though.
and vodka. Yeah, I'll have a
move.
Shooter. Anybody
Yeah.
to walk by, kids. I'll have a shooter. You walk in the kitchen, Dad. She needs a shooter. Another one
after my own heart.
Stop walking by your
lovely
aunt.
matriarch. Lovely matriarch there.
Yeah. All right, let's do some free plays. I only got 2 for all around the world. Real quick, though. It is $5 Tuesday. We're going to do a free play here. This one didn't make the card. It just missed the card, but we'll go over it. That's yesterday, Dan.
Come on. This always happens to me, Andy.
That's all right. I'll do my very professional promo. I have a $5 best bet up in UFC. The last time we put one up, we hit it. Therefore, we are riding momentum, and you should go get this $5 UFC play. I have a $5 tennis play. As seen with the absolute wagon, tennis plays are hitting. Again, we are riding momentum, and you should go get that play. It's only $10 for 2 plays. UFC is this Saturday. Tennis starts today. Free play. Okay, Sinner to win 2-0 versus Popyrin. Dan, Popyrin won his last match. Channel your inner Ferris Bueller. How many matches did he lose in a row before that? Inner Ferris Bueller. How many times
Andy,
did he lose?
It's been some time since I've seen Ferris Bueller.
9 times. 9 times. 9 times. He lost 9 times in a row. Cinder beat the brakes off of him earlier when they played. So I have him to win 2-0. And then Medi versus Tsitsipas. Tsitsipas is dealing with this back injury. He said he almost retired last year. Medvedev has swept him the last 3 times they've played. Tsitsipas is really just trying to get back to good form and get his health back, but his back is a real problem. Medvedev playing really well, so I like Medvedev. You parlay those together, it's -169. It's a little juicy. I was doing my best to try and get you guys a free tennis play. This just missed the card. I have not played this yet, so take that for what it's worth. And then I like the dog here. I think this dog is going to bark here, Dan. Josiah Harrell +240 against Jacoby Smith. Jacoby Smith, his dad was a professional fighter. Jacoby Smith is really good. There's one thing he's not really managed yet, and that's how to manage his cardio. Dan, you've been out to the bar with a guy that goes too hard too early, and you're like an hour in and you got to take him home. That's the way Jacoby Smith fights. Like, he goes balls to the wall in the first round, and it's worked so far. Josiah Harrell, he pulled this off in his last fight. The guy kicked his ass in the first round. Harrell has great cardio, and he reversed it. I think Harrell's going to kind of get beat up in the first round, and then he's going to pull ahead. Don't be surprised if he pulls the upset in round 3 when Jacoby Smith gets tired. This is an awesome live bet because I think Smith is going to look good in the first round. You might be able to live bet Harrell and get him at like 5-1, 6-1. So Josiah Harrell coming in a little bit of short notice. I think he pulls the upset.
Love it.
All right. That's a great show, Dan. Smoke.
Dude, no sports, no freaking problem for you and I. I mean, guys, come on. Can we get a little bit of love here? We're keeping plays coming aplenty here. 9 indeed. We almost had 9 damn free plays here on the show. When there's no NBA, there's no NHL. Come on. This is the new Wager Talk Today for you folks.
Yep, absolutely. So, all right. Throw Longhorns baseball on the tennis parlay and bet the number down. All right, RJ. Okay. Keep us posted on your college baseball plays for sure. All right, guys, $5 Tuesday. Again, take advantage of these. Try out a handicapper that you haven't tried before. It's a good time to read their analysis, see if it's a good fit for you and your portfolio. Also, don't forget $7 plays over at Sports Memo. You can check out those guys. We have that every single day. So it's a great time to try some sports that you may not have been interested in. I'm telling you, tennis is this is the new big hidden gem for myself and for clients. We've been cashing at a high rate, and I don't expect that to slow down anytime soon. Dan's got his lacrosse play that's going. That's at the beginning of the show. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment. Good luck on all your plays, and we'll see everyone tomorrow. Take care.